Hello, my name is Ashley, and I'm going to talk about the cons of the general education of the least restricted environment for students with autism. In some cases, the least restricted environment for autistic students would be the fully inclusive general education classroom. But due to the fact that the ASD has a large range of exceptionalities, the least restricted environment is not always going to be a traditional education classroom. In fact, the least restricted environment would be the special education classroom. I found that students with autism actually would require more of the teacher's attention and time in order to get their work completed. Due to this, the students with non-disabilities will have less time and attention from teachers to help them with their work that needs to be done. I also found that teachers in the general education classroom may not be trained in educating students with autistic or any other type of disability. Due to this, in order to get the teachers trained, it is very expensive. From researching some stuff, I actually found that the cost of getting teachers trained in the United States per student ranges anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. Now, for non-disabled students, the price range for per student is between $6,000 and $7,000. I also found that when placing students with autism in a general classroom, the possibilities of them getting bullied is very high. These students are easy targets for non-disabled students because they're able to see their disability and how they aren't at the same level as they are. So it makes it easy for them to become targets for bullying. Due to this, these students with autism or any other type of disability develop low self-esteem and low self-concept. Once this happens, the students will start going through depression and feel like they are academically inadequate. So this is not good for these students to have to deal with bullying within these classrooms. Another thing that I found was by putting students in a regular classroom, they can be overwhelmed, or even the classroom might even be overstimulating for them. In some cases, by being overwhelmed, the classroom could be too noisy for them and they would be unable to perform their work duties on their assignments. In some cases, the classroom can be inadequate for the students, which would stop them from being able to understand what they're supposed to do or what they're supposed to be doing next. So it's a very big distraction for them. By putting these students in these classrooms for the least restricted environments, they need to be presented information in a way that they can comprehend. Therefore, they have to be individualized, like they would need individualized instruction in order for them to be able to academically succeed in their assignments. I found that by putting autistic students in general education classrooms for the least restricted environment, it's not only non-beneficial for those students, it's also non-beneficial for the teachers and the non-disabled students. It's difficult for the teachers because in most cases they are scared of the fact that they don't have the background or the education to teach these students with disabilities or with autism. So it is a huge scare for them because they don't know if they're going to be able to do it or not. I also found that within putting these students within the classrooms are going to need to be modified to fit their academic learning styles. So in some cases, the classrooms may need to be rearranged or designed differently for these students. For the non-disabled students, there are disadvantages as well. These students can be disadvantaged by having like another student, such as a student with disability or the student with autism, act out and within the classroom, which will actually disturb the classroom and can interfere with their academic abilities of getting their work done. So that's an issue. They could also deal with educational delays, so that way the students with disabilities or the student with autism can be right where they're at. So slowing their work process down is not really good for the students who are non-disabled, because then they start becoming bored or they could start acting out. So that's not good either. So by putting students with autism in a general education classroom can cause problems not only for that student, for the teacher, and also for the non-disabled student. I feel that maybe the students with autism should be taught in a special education classroom to help benefit them in their education and in their learning.